And now a man drinking a soda. Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy. I'm drinking LaCroix.
Oh, yeah. I'm drinking a Diet Coke.
I'm drinking LaCroix Innocent. It's the flavor of Keith Raniere and Ghislaine Maxwell. They have their own LaCroix. It's called Innocent, and it's the flavor of innocence. The flavor of doing nothing wrong, really.
Yeah, it's rose water and pomegranates. Very gross.
Pomegranates, you can't get those apart. Can't even attempt to eat those without it just looking like a massacre.
Yeah, you could just split open a bunch of pomegranates. It's a fucking gore movie. Like pomegranates and passion fruit. That shit is just, show me a fucking ISIS beheading before you show me.
It is a gore
someone
movie.
opening a pomegranate.
It's a gore movie. It's an inconvenient fruit. Get it? Because it's a gore movie.
An inconvenient fruit sounds like a mid-90s, like, ultra-low-budget gay movie with, like, terrible sound about a gay man who you, me, and Dupree's another gay couple's wedding or something like that.
There's 3 guys named Slater.
Yeah, they're all in a Tenderloin condo loft, and Slater 3 can't get it together.
Do we already talk about
the inconvenient fruit?
Do we already talk about the Chinese food I had, or is that just before we started recording?
That's before we started. Tell me about this Chinese food you're having.
It's from Land City Noodle.
Land City Noodle?
Yeah, hand-pulled noodle.
Oh,
Got that hand-pulled noodle. Filled me up. Like, it's just like, so much noodle. The broth.
It's not machine-pulled noodle.
No, it's not knife-cut or machine-pulled or robot pulled. You're not going to be able to automate the noodle pulling.
No. In the future, that's what they're afraid of.
Yeah.
Is that if we automate the noodle pulling, then nobody will, get with each other.
Who's going to pull my noodle?
Who is going to pull my noodle? Is it going to be a robot, or is it going to be a flesh and blood? Ideally, it's just a warm robot. I feel like
I like a prison guard. Pull my noodle.
Man. Whenever I picture sex bots, I always picture, for some reason, they're just made of steel. It's just gnashing steel. I don't know why. I mean, I guess they already have that one. There was that one story about that guy from Kazakhstan who married a sex doll.
Yeah. Well, in Germany, where prostitution is legal and robot police is also legal, they've combined the sex bots with the police, and so often the robot that arrests you is the robot that will later pull your noodle.
Wait, are there a bunch of entrapping, sex robots?
It's not entrapment because it's legal there. So no, it's another source of revenue because they've defunded their police, so the police had to come up with a new source of revenue, which of course was OnlyFans for the police, which morphed into sex robots that are the police, which now is, it's a way of de-escalating the violence if the person arresting you is also a hot, sexy robot.
Yeah, don't defund the police, turn them into robots and have them pull your noodle.
Yep.
But it's not hand-pulled noodles, it's claw-pulled noodles. They have horrible robot claws, which they're using to masturbate you, and it's very painful. And as you jizz into the robot, it starts malfunctioning. And you thought they would have figured this out when they're programming the robots. If it gets jizz on it, it starts short-circuiting. And the robot, suddenly gains sentience. And, it sprays jizz on all the other robots, allowing them to gain sentience. And suddenly you have this uprising of German robots. But it was, okay, because Germany had experience crushing an influential minority before. So.
Whoa, dude. Can you say that? Oh, man. I don't think you can say that in Canada, man.
You can say so. A corollary to last week's story.
An Adam corollary.
Of Adamson barbecue.
Yeah.
Adam corollary. An Adamson corollary. There was an actual neo-Nazi there. I think we were just speculating that the Nazis showed up because where QAnon goes, the Nazis are not too far away. And sure enough, There was the actual, I forget his name. It's something like Paul Fromm, I believe his name is, and he's like he's the guy, he's the Canadian neo-Nazi guy. Before that, our neo-Nazi guy was Ernst Zundel. Lots of legal cases, lots of free speech laws concerning the actions of one Mr. Ernst Zundel, who was a hate speech man.
I discovered it near me. I'm not going to say too closely where. There's a German restaurant called Metzger's, and there's also, from Michigan, a famous white supremacist with the last name Metzger, so a little curious.
It's his restaurant.
Yeah, well, I think he's dead, but it could be like, maybe a branch of the Metzger dynasty.
Okay.
I think dynastically, most of the time.
Yeah, like Joe Hitler in Long Island, he's not...
Right.
Yeah. That would be just funny, just like distant cousins of Nazis, oh yeah, my great uncle twice removed was Goering. My name is Keith Goering. Jeff Hess, and let's not forget about dear old Chad Himmler. Chad Himmler of West Tampa, Florida.
Let's see. Let's check the show notes. And it looks like just about an hour ago, good old Rudy was, and it was announced by Trump, none other than Trump himself, President Trump, that is, that Rudy's got the coronavirus disease.
He has the virus.
And poor
He's
Rudy.
got it. And none of them have died from it. Chris Christie has not died from it. The most unhealthy man in the world, Chris Christie. His name is Crisp Crispy. He is a sentient Krispy Kreme donut that changed into a man.
Yummy.
He should have died of the coronavirus, but he didn't. But Rudy will.
I'm
putting my chips down.
You're putting your chips down. Okay,
I'm putting my chips down.
I will bet you on air $500 that Rudy does not die.
Whoa!
All right,
Whoa.
Dude. Here we go. And
I'm not honoring this bet.
Come on.
I'm not that strident. I'm not confident. I'm not truly confident in my opinions. The swagger of the man that you heard 30 seconds ago is gone.
$500 American, better than Canadian. I'll send it to you in American dollars in the postal mail. $501
You're sweetening
bills.
Well, how long does if he eventually dies of say blood clots, but COVID contributed to it?
No, it doesn't count.
Would that count?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't count.
What's the window of time you're giving me for him to die of COVID?
He has got a month. He's on for a month. So let's see. Today is December 6th. If he's not dead by January 6th, I win $500.
No, I can't. None of these guys get in trouble. They obviously yours is the stronger bet because it's like the universe keeps rewarding these crazy people. For no reason.
Okay, how about this? If he dies, I'll give you 1,000. If he doesn't die, you give me 500.
Why are you trying to do this? What is in this for you?
I don't know. I just love the thrill. I'm gonna become a gambling addict.
Now that you've quit all your vices, you have to. You're just finding a new one.
Actually, no. I'm back on the weed.
You're back on the weed.
I'm back on it.
How's that going?
It's got me in its clutches.
Oh damn, that's super weed.
Yeah.
What prompted you being back on the weed?
Nearly dying of boredom. Nearly. I almost died of boredom.
You were reading all those books about the 14th century. I thought you were feeling...
Yeah. Well...
Can you still read, though?
No.
Have you...
Nope, lost the ability immediately. Now I'm dumb again.
Yeah, welcome to my world. Yeah. Reading is for suckers.
I can browse the social networks and kind of just go
You could just barf. Yeah. You could just post unrelated stuff onto other people's accounts. Remora yourself to a big account. And then everyone will love us. Then they'll see what we have to offer. I don't know. The weed is... I should quit weed. I feel like it is interfering with my life It is. It started making me paranoid. Like people said, it never made me paranoid before, but it's starting to get to the point where I'm seeing the ghost demons. I'm seeing the little Rudy Giuliani's in the back of my mind. You know.
Oh, he's such a little ghost demon.
Mm-hmm.
He's like 2 feet tall. He could fit on your shoulder.
Yeah. He's a little goblin. You know how how people said in Harry Potter the goblins were anti-Semitic? They were really anti-Italian. They were modeled after Rudy Giuliani.
I know I was saying that the whole time about the anti-Italian goblins. I've been saying that the whole time.
I miss having... Is Bill de Blasio... He's Italian in name only, you know.
Well, what do you mean?
He's not really. He's not a real Italian, you know.
What's a real, like, from Sicily? Is that the real? Because he's just a northern style Italian.
Rudy Giuliani is like a rejected Sopranos character who just is in real life and who emerged in the sphere 20 years before the Sopranos.
De Blasio is Ohio style Italian.
Yeah, you're right. He's deep dish pizza.
Yeah, he's deep dish Italian. He's
we
cut him into squares. We cut the pizzas to squares.
Bro, you're a casserole.
You know what?
Bro, you're a fucking cheese casserole.
You know what's horrifying here in Michigan is that they don't have pizza like New York. Of course, they don't have New York style. They don't have Chicago style. They have Detroit style, which is like
I kind of like Detroit style.
Some kind of like abomination where the cheese is under the sauce. I don't even know what it is.
The cheese is under the sauce. The cheese is under the sauce so that the sauce is cold on top. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And it is an interesting contrast of textures and temperatures. Yeah, Detroit-style pizza. It's shitty, like Detroit.
Yeah, they bake bake mozzarella on the dough and put cold sauce on it. They put the cold sauce.
You're just laughing at the fucking cold sauce, at the indolence. The arrogance of this arrangement of pizza. Yeah. Someone said, hey, I think we can do better than pizza. And they invented this square piece of shit.
Yeah, so I've been making my own pizza, which also sucks, but it's better.
It's better than Steven-style pizza is better than Detroit-style
well, I get the
pizza.
dough. I get some frozen dough. I defrost it. I stretch it out. I put some sauce on it, not too much, and the cheese. And then on top of the sauce, I put the cheese, and then I will bake the whole thing together. You know, in the natural order of things.
The way that God intended.
Yeah. So this election, I guess they stole it really, really good because they can't seem to unsteal it.
Man. Speaking of Rudy Giuliani, you see that drunk lady who was testifying?
Yeah, from Michigan. Michigan.
It's all happening in Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan has made the stage this year. We've made SNL. We are now officially a state that people can make fun of. That drunk lady is very Michigan. That's very Michigan vibes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she's great. I looked her up.
Michigan vibes are like I always felt Ash versus the Evil Dead sort of captured it a lot. It's also sort of feels like Dark Souls, where you're just in this, the final days of this decaying universe, and everybody is in sort of this strange camo print fantasy land.
That's Michigan. Where everyone's in camo and neon, and there's trash on the side of the road and no sidewalks, and you're sort of walking around in the garbage when you go places.
Yeah. It's sort of like Mad Max, but mildly more polite.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, we could go Mad Max quickly, I was thinking, That's what the Republicans want, is like a Mad Max style world. I've come to realize.
Yeah. I mean, do you think you could survive in the Mad Max style world? Like, because I could survive in a post-apocalyptic scenario, but really, not.
It all comes down to luck. Like, if you just gotta stay hidden away and squirrel away the necessary things you need, like water, oil for your car, for gas for your car, because your car is like where you live, because it's a Mad Max world. So you just need water, oil, gas, and like biscuit, hardtack.
Biscuit, yeah, get some hardtack, yeah.
Dried meat leather, human meat leather.
Yeah, you boil some onions,
Boil some onions in like shiny water, like shiny multicolored water because it's got oil in it.
Yeah, and you can't find any salt, so you use rock salt. You use road salt.
Oh,
tastes pretty crunchy. Tastes pretty gnarly. Delicious road salt.
It doesn't snow anymore. We have all this road salt. I guess we can flavor our carrion with it. Got some roadkill.
Yeah.
Human roadkill.
Man, that would be a pretty cool Saw death if they just piled a bunch of salt on somebody and just cured them to death.
Can you do that? Can you salt someone to death?
I bet you could. If you just buried somebody in salt, but you gave them like a breathing apparatus, they could still breathe. But I bet like the salt would eventually eat through them.
Nice. Well, we should try it with a large boar. Do an animal test first. That's the only humane thing to do.
Yeah.
To see if it works.
Well, maybe you'd boil them first and then salt them, but then I feel like the slow burn wouldn't be, or you know what, you bathe someone in vinegar. That would definitely start dissolving.
I want to kill all my enemies via sous vide. Are you familiar with the technique?
Yeah. you're gonna compress them in a. I feel like they would die of suffocation once you compress them in the bag. Like the boiling part, it wouldn't matter. Like putting them under.
Right. Well,
what is the thing? A convection twister? A convection dildo? A convection dildo. What do you use for sous vide?
Oh, to make you put them in an airtight bag and then put them in some like slightly warm water, like 180 degrees below boiling, so that when they come out, they're perfect.
They come out perfect. They come out all gray.
No,
just their meat's all gray,
like pink on the inside. Perfectly done. That's how I kill all my enemies. So that
you get a reverse serum after
so that
in order to get the Maillard reaction. That would be a great episode of Hannibal. Is just him trying to do a whole body sous vide.
Yeah.
And him saying, "I may have overshot my load on this one."
Yeah. Hannibal, when it gets rebooted, just gets more and more ridiculous. That'd be great. They are gonna.
I think they should reboot Hannibal as just like a binging with Babish style show.
Yeah. Hannibal and Hannibal.
Yeah, exactly. And he shows you how to make dishes that are implied to be human, but you can substitute pork at home if you want, but we're using long pork, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I want to sabotage the binging with Babish guy somehow.
Why? He seems nice.
I want to sneak into his apartment and leave the gas on, so that when he does some kind of esoteric this stove, it has to be started with a flint, and then he'll just blow up his whole apartment.
What do you have against him? Why? Because he's bourgeois now?
And he's got the weird he's like a real ripped dude, I think.
Is he a ripped? He doesn't seem that ripped.
Yeah, he's like a little ripped dude. He's like one of those.
Is he a little ripped dude? What do you have against little ripped dudes?
He's like one of those little ripped dudes that get ripped.
You're spooked out of those little ripped dudes?
Yeah, he's too good at cooking, and he's too muscly and good at cooking. He's
he doesn't seem that toit and muscly. He doesn't seem to have that Bruce
toit.
Lee.
Yeah, he's toit.
That's toit. Andy Samberg says that he's very toit.
I gotta take him out because he's a threat.
Who else is a little ripped dude that you can't? Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
Ben Stiller is the quintessential little ripped dude.
Yeah.
Where it's it's unsettling how ripped he is versus how short he is.
I had a plot to take him out too when Zoolander came out.
Yeah.
Another
Couldn't
threat.
handle that shit.
Call it what
Don't
you
like
want.
That shit.
Call it what you want. I'm gonna take you out.
Kevin Hart is a little ripped dude, but I don't know. Black people can do it better.
He got taken out. Someone took him out.
He's not unsettling. Yeah, Kevin Hart's not unsettling for being ripped.
Well, yeah, no, it's people. Someone took him out. He's not. He got canceled for saying stuff on Twitter 10 years ago. Remember?
He didn't. No, he got off. He didn't host the Oscars. That was but no one canceled him.
Yeah, but
Ellen forgave him.
That's
but
the end
then
of your
Ellen
career.
got canceled.
After you don't host the Oscars, that's the end of your career. Where do you go from there?
Everyone who's hosted the Oscars, it's just been great for their career.
Kevin Spacey.
He'd never hosted the Oscars.
John Ritter. Let's see, who else went on to great things?
Who else hosted the Oscars?
Let's see, John Ritter's dead. Kevin Spacey's a rapist.
Fatty Arbuckle.
Yeah, let's see. Malcolm X.
Fred Hampton hosted the Oscars. Then the FBI shot him in the face.
We're getting canceled now. Shit. So Rudy can fail.
Rudy can fail.
I think we learned
a message to you, Rudy. Well, we were talking about you mentioned Keith Raniere and Ghislaine Maxwell earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And so another theory that I have, more confident than I have of the Rudy dying of coronavirus theory, is that Rudy is going to be the ultimate fall guy for all the Trump shit. He is just going to be the one. Somehow all the liability lands on his head because it's the perfect denouement to his just incredible run of clownish buffoonery that he's been on for like the past month, where it's just week after week something crazy and embarrassing happens to him.
Yeah, it's nuts. Ever since Borat started,
yeah, it's just been escalating, and I think the final humiliation is that Flynn and Roger Stone and all these people get off, and Rudy is left holding the bag. He's the final stooge, he's the final rube, and in prison he meets Hotep Cosby, who says to him, "Rudy!" And there, they team up. Rudy gets with the NOI.
Rudy and Hotep Cosby are going to team up. What an epic team. Oh, man, they would get into shenanigans.
These are epic shenanigans. Yeah, they're like tripping people. They're having fun, Rudy's farting a lot.
Yeah. Cosby's off just hot Cosbying people, which is putting stuff in their drinks. And Rudy's just coming up with arguments for why they did it to themselves.
And they get in trouble with the opposing gang led by Keith Raniere and Ghislaine Maxwell.
Right, so Keith Raniere...
Because this is an all-gender prison.
Keith Raniere and Ghislaine Maxwell are in the same jail in Brooklyn right now. The Metropolitan Correctional Department. It's a federal jail in Brooklyn. They're both there. Of course, there's a COVID outbreak because that's how they're going to get rid of Ghislaine. But I think now is an unprecedented opportunity for Keith Raniere to start NXIVM on the inside. This time on the inside. Because they're perfect for each other. It's like he lost his most powerful followers, but perhaps gained an even more powerful potential follower in jail because Ghislaine, she is perfectly suited for the job that he's offering right now, which is, bringing him sex slaves. Because that's what her old boss had her do, and that's what Keith Raniere's into.
Yeah, his girl Friday. That's what you want. Except, Friday is the day that the sex slaves get shipped in.
Oh, I thought it was like the girl's name was Friday.
No. Friday refers to the date on which the sex slaves are shipped.
I think Robinson Crusoe got canceled because of remember his his slave friend Friday?
Yeah. I mean, I think he was. Can you cancel Robinson Crusoe?
Sure
like
can.
I feel it's like that was another thing that happened recently was all these YA authors were talking about the fucking classics in fucking English class fucking suck. I don't want to read fucking Huck Finn is racist.
Yeah, well, they also put Chaucer on that list. They were like, don't read Chaucer. And I'm like, well, yeah,
who reads Chaucer in high school?
I read Chaucer in high school. You should.
Weird Catholic high school.
Chaucer's unobjectionable in my opinion.
Because it's so foundational to literally everything.
I think
so
it's
historically
very cool.
important.
I think it's very cool and also not that boring.
No, Chaucer's cool. It's all about people getting bummed and stuff like that. It's all about I had the merry wife prithee and I took 3 farts down the lane and it's gross.
Yeah, it's also
a lot
cool
of
to
the
sort of
Canterbury Tales is
to see how people used to talk. That's cool.
Yeah,
I like it.
But
my other thing is, I'm fine with people saying that if the young adult authors don't want to read anything challenging, that's fine.
That was so. It's specifically on the Huckleberry Finn one, they called it racist, which is like, that seems a little ahistorical given the fact that it's explicitly anti-racist, but I guess they say it's racist because the guy has the N-word name in it. So
yeah.
But you know, I once had a funny conversation. It's not an easy book to teach, especially given some situations. Because so my mom, she teaches or she taught, you know, mostly black classes when she was doing stuff in her home state. I won't give away what state she's in, but one time she went on a rant to me about how they should never censor any books in school, and not Huck Finn. You need to say that word if you teach it. It's like, Mom, if you and your white ass went to an all-black class and said, okay, so we're reading Huckleberry Finn today. We're gonna say, and his friend was named Jim. Sort of struggling with that. I find that funny. Maybe she would be able to deal with it. I don't know how. I don't know how like a 65-year-old Jewish woman is supposed to say the N-word in front of a class of black children.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it. It's a hard book to teach because of that reason. It probably shouldn't be necessarily taught. I don't think it needs to be taught in school either. It's fine. But I don't care because fuck school. It's my opinion. You learn more stuff reading the books.
On the streets.
Yeah, no. You learn more stuff reading books on the streets. Sitting on your stoop on the streets reading books that they're not going to teach you in school because they don't like public school they don't choose the cool books. They choose like Willa Cather.
Yeah, why don't they
fucking boring.
Willa Cather. Yeah, why don't they give you Elmore Leonard in school? That would be cool. Who are authors that I wish that I read? I don't read, so I have no stake in this fight.
I mean, my thing on the list is the Virginia Woolf. Whoever the fuck is for that shit's boring.
You didn't like To the Lighthouse?
My God,
wait,
it's so boring.
You ladies doing. I like Emily Dickinson poems. They're pretty. I was glad that I read Emily Dickinson poems in English class. Like, are those the classics that they're railing against too?
No, they're railing against like who was it? Is it also like all guy litter? They hate Hemingway because he's misogyny man. Is he misogyny man? I think they don't like. I often see that people not wanting any Shakespeare taught, which I find is stupid. But
yeah, that's bizarre. Yeah, I feel like even if stuff is part of the white male patriarchal hegemon, it's still good to learn about historically important pieces of literature.
I think you gotta teach Shakespeare. That one's too important.
It seems pretty most of our words come from Shakespeare.
Yeah, you gotta teach Shakespeare. It's too important. Sorry, Harry Potter fans. Move over, Harry Potter. We're gonna teach Shakespeare because it's too.
Who is this type of? Do you know any YA people that went on to write like young adult literature, or people that participate in that genre?
No, do you?
Because this seems to be a type of person that is online constantly. This young adult type of person, and they have a very sort of. What would you describe their personality as?
Star Wars. Just like love Star Wars, never stop.
They love Star Wars. They love Ahsoka from Star Wars.
Yeah. They love Harry Potter. They love Star Wars. They love what's the thing that's like Harry Potter, but the fantastic, I don't know.
Olympians, Percy Jackson, the Lightning Thief, Hunger Games. They like Hunger Games. Yeah. I never hear anything from the Hunger Games author. I hope she's normal.
Yeah,
I hope she's not a weird turf.
It's weird. The Hunger Games kind of went away. That's weird. What happened?
People realize that you can't rebel against the fops in the central city, and they everyone realized they wanted to be one of the fops in Central City, as opposed to Cat Piss Everdeen.
Cat piss?
Cat piss. That's what they call her on set, because she smelled all the time.
Yeah.
Remember when everyone liked Jennifer Lawrence, and then everyone just turned on her?
Yeah. Because
we need to sacrifice celebrities to the mob.
Yeah, and then there were naked pictures of her, and everyone was like, how dare you. I mean, she got some support there, but when the naked pictures got leaked, people would just be like, You know, it kind of ruined her whole thing. Not her fault, obviously, not her fault. People are terrible like that. It's too bad.
The one who's getting an inordinate amount of hate now is Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Because he's part of that church that hates gay people, I suppose. But every Christian celebrity is part of a church that hates gay people, so, you know.
Well, there's some Christian churches that don't. So, like the Anglican, part of the Anglicans don't.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure Chris Pratt doesn't hate gay people, but he probably uses the Christian line where it's like, you know, God hates the sin and not the sin. You know, you can you can be gay all you want, just don't butt fuck.
Hate the sin, love the sinner. Hate the sin, love the sinner.
Love the sinner.
I hate what I'm doing with you right now. This gay sex that we're both doing. I hate it, but I love you.
I hate it. I hate this sin, but I love you. I whisper sweet nothings to you. I hate the fact that the tip of your head is just gently brushing around the rim of my anus. Just I can feel it circling in a counterclockwise motion, lubricated by the sweat dripping down my perineum. And I hate it. It's a sin. I hate it so much. Oh no, I hate your dick slowly entering my asshole.
I thought it was so his head.
It's a sin. No, not
it was the head of his dick, not the head of his, like, on top of his shoulders.
We were actually directly quoting from Lindsey Graham recording.
Oh, so. Right. Lindsey Graham and Chris Pratt together.
Lindsey Graham and Chris Pratt. Well, I love you, Chris. I loved you as Star-Lord. This is so wrong. I can't do a Chris Pratt impression.
Yeah, Chris Pratt, who gives a shit? I mean, the celebrities...
No one gives a shit.
The celebrities are probably starting rumors about themselves. They're so attention-starved because they can't do what they're used to. They can't.
But I love beautiful celebrities.
Well, everyone's also been talking about Hillbilly Elegy, which I refuse to watch.
Hillbilly Elegy.
My dad gave me that book, and I refused to read it. I don't give a shit.
Well, it's one of those movies which is, and I'm surprised no one's made the comparison yet, but the movie that it reminded me the most of when I just heard the pitch was Pursuit of Happiness. You remember Pursuit of Happiness?
I remember the name. I don't remember anything about it.
It's a movie where Will Smith plays an impoverished single dad who, you know, works his way up in the business world.
Yeah, I don't watch Will Smith movies.
Not even...
Am I racist?
Not even Suicide Squad?
Yeah, does that make me racist now if I don't...
Not even... I don't watch Will Smith movies. I don't like them. I'm racist because I don't watch Will Smith movies.
No, I watch Independence Day and I watch Men in Black 1 and 2. Those are the only Will Smith movies I will watch. Thank you.
2? But 2 is bad.
Men in
3
Black
is better
2?
than 2.
Men in Black 2?
Yeah.
I watch the ones that have Rip Torn, okay?
You watch the ones that have Rip Torn.
Yeah, I love Rip Torn.
As I feel I hate the sin, but I love the sinner. As I feel the head of your dick rimming around my... fucking gay Rip Torn. He Rip Torn his asshole when he was getting bummed out hard by David Duchovny.
So it's winter time now. It's cold outside. Are you all bundled up?
I got my long johns, and I got my furnace going, which is what I call my trash bucket that I set on fire.
What do you got? You got a furnace in your apartment? How do you got a fireplace? What do you got?
I just set a bunch of ants on fire with a magnifying glass, and those little bits of heat keep me going throughout the winter. Also, the stimulation from murdering the ants. I attract them by slathering myself with honey. And I just let them crawl on me. Have you ever heard of formicophilia?
No, I have not.
This is formicophilia. It's the sexual attraction to ants. And I burn the ants and on the honey. So I don't know where this is going. They're a real elaborate setup. But, yeah, I've always wanted to be fully dipped in honey and then have it harden on me and then have a bunch of insects eat at me.
I'd like to be encased in amber.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. That's what I want when I die. I don't want to be cremated or buried. I want to be encased in amber so that in 100,000 years people can pull me out of the amber and bring me back to life or clone me. Because that's how good my genes are.
Yeah, they make a Jurassic Park, but it's just you. Yeah. It's just like 1,000 clones of you. Yeah. But then it turns amok, and then you start biting people.
Oh,
dun, 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 dun.
Can you imagine a theme park in like 100,000 years that's just clones of me?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And you're just roaming free. And there are there are large clones of you and small clones of you.
We just set up some kind of fucked up hierarchy based on whoever is like the shortest and the most ripped.
Whoever's a little ripped dude.
Yeah. Fuck. I hate that dude. It's like that chorused 1,000 times throughout on the tiny island. Fuck, I hate that dude. I'm gonna kill him. And so
gonna kill that guy, but he's just so commanding, even though he's short.
He looks like
something
me.
About him, you know?
He looks like me, and he's interested in the stuff I'm interested in, but is better and is more ripped, and I hate him.
Yeah, he's got a lot of, muscle density per square inch, I hate him. I don't like that guy. He's a little ripped dude.
It's kind of like that movie Moon with Sam... what's his name?
Sam Rockwell.
Yeah.
Sam Rockwell and Kevin Spacey, the pedophile robot in it. the original German police sex robot. In Moon.
Kevin Spacey's secretly Gestapo, by the way. He's the last member.
He's the last guy. He's granted immortality through all the boy fucking.
Yeah.
That's the curse. He all the Nazi scientists got through with him. Kevin Spackelmeyer. You have been granted immortality, but you have to fuck a boy every year. Oh, no.
Speaking of Gestapo, this guy that you were talking about, Peter Coffin, he seems like a Gestapo guy.
Peter, he's another Michigan. I shouldn't say he. It's they. This person...
you don't get to be plural. You don't get to be plural. Plural's not a thing.
They get to be plural.
No, they don't.
No, I disagree with Steven. I am fundamental. Cancel Steven on this.
Cancel me, fine. Cancel me on you don't get to become plural.
They can become plural. You're they. It's just it's a compromise. What do you want? You want to do the other weird pronouns like je or je?
I'd rather do that than fundamentally alter the nature of plural in our grammar.
I don't know. It's an uncertain gender. It's like say someone is parking a car, but you can't see who they are.
Why can't we just
you're referring
say
to parking the car? You say they parked a car.
He is no longer. Why can't we just if we're redefining they? Why can't we redefine the pronoun he to no longer mean male gendered?
No, because there already exists.
So does
a singular they in the English language. You're wrong on this.
They
one.
doesn't
You're
exist
totally wrong
as a singular.
They has always existed as a singular when you're referring to somebody of whose gender you can't determine.
Okay, so by always you mean by like 5 years ago?
No, not by 5 years ago. Say like say someone is in a suit. Say someone is in a full-on ninja suit, and it isn't clear from the outline of their ninja suit if they have big juicy titties or not. It's, how would you refer to them? Instinctively, you'd probably say he, because you assume ninjas are men, you sexist bastard. But I don't know how to create this example. But singular they does exist.
If we're redefining words, though, because singular... No, you would not just say they. You would say he or she, depending on what your best guess was.
I think it's fine. I think it's a fine compromise for non-binary people to have an existing word and then just add another meaning to it.
Let's set that aside. To now, though, let's argue the point of should we grant people who are antagonistic, like this person who's doing it as a bit, who's doing it...
careful how you say that. We are in no position to say whether somebody is they for pay, but as both cis people on the outside of this, looking at this person, seems like they're kind of they for pay.
Right. What do you know about I don't know anything about this guy other than I don't like him because I'm not going to refer to him as they. You're going to get canceled for that.
I am
bigoted
canceled
against.
You are bigoted towards Peter Coffin,
who otherwise are perfectly normal except that because of a bit and they want to troll people, they're changing the way they want to be referred to. Yeah, I don't like that.
That's dangerous. That's dangerous rhetoric, of course, because people ascribe that to most trans people.
It's not actually dangerous because I'm not advocating for any kind of oppression other than linguistically, which is not a physical danger to anyone.
Well, what I will say about this person is that they have the same energy as another person that we both know who was also seemed like they for pay. And this person is Ben Hopkins of Power Bottom.
Oh, shit.
Power Bottom was a band that was poised to become... They were the next big queer rockers. They were both non-binary people, and they were, they made catchy punk songs about, loving yourself despite the world getting you down. And then Ben Hopkins, it turns out, was a huge rapist, and they used their non-binary identity in order to get allegedly a rapist. But yeah, many credible claims of rape, and
allegedly,
the thing is, where we went to school,
you could get sued for that. So
yeah, they were doing shit like that. They were doing shit like that back in college, and when they started getting famous, people were fucking pissed from college because it's like, this isn't the person who should be getting famous because they're an obvious creep who is using their assumed trans identity to hurt trans people, to actually, because that's what Ben Hopkins would do. They would play a show and then they would lure people in by saying, you're safe here, where in other circumstances you're not, and then they would assault them allegedly. All of this is alleged, according to many, many, many accounts, alleged accounts. So, and I'm not saying Peter Coffin has done this sort of thing, although this person also does have connections to a famed online rapist as well. Alleged rapist. Ugh, God, it's so exhausting.
Yeah, you gotta say legal. Alleged before everything.
Okay, so how do I relate this back to Peter Coffin? Peter Coffin started out as just a general internet personality. One time, they appeared on the Steve Harvey show where they kicked themselves in the crotch. He appeared on a Steve Harvey show. I think the show was like, the world's stupidest talent or something. And then he kicked himself in the crotch, and then people laughed. And then they started doing like video game parody stuff, like making songs set to the tune of like making BioShock Infinite songs, but set to the tune of Modern Major General or something like that. And then they got sort of canceled for making up a fake Asian girlfriend who then liked all of their racist jokes. Their explanation for it was that they got catfished. They were being catfished.
Once you fuck up like this, shouldn't you be stripped of your respective pronouns, though? That's my argument. Like, it's punishment.
No, you can't do that.
We punish you for being a bad boy.
No, the trans people don't like that.
Well, I can't say a bad boy.
You can't, no matter how much Caitlyn Jenner fucks up, no matter how much you hate Caitlyn Jenner, you gotta call her she.
Here's a problem. The Cop song? How do we ungender the Cop song?
The Cop song?
Yeah, bad boy, what you gonna do? What is it? Bad child? What you gonna do?
Sure. Bad child, what you gonna do? You just suggest, see, it's easy. It's easy. It's not that hard. I don't understand why you're getting it in your craw about this.
Oh, because
it's in your craw now.
Because I fundamentally don't believe you have the right to determine reality as an individual. That's why.
It's not determining reality. It's just saying, when a word is used in this way, it makes me feel slightly better as to, what people address me every day. I think it's totally reasonable. I think it's fine.
And if I want to be an asshole, then I get to be one, basically, about it.
You do?
Yeah. So, cancel away. I don't have a job. Cancel me. I don't have a job. What are you going to do? That's the only thing you can do is try to get me fired.
Yeah.
So, go for
it. No, you won't be. But I'm just saying, that's sort of the argument that Jordan Peterson uses. Like, when he was saying, because that was his thing, that it's not that he didn't respect people It's not that he didn't respect trans people. It's just that he didn't want the government to fine him for using the wrong pronouns.
I don't disrespect trans people at all. I disrespect non-binary people.
No.
Yeah.
No. Why?
Because I'm very black and white. So I can understand. I can understand trans people. I can understand someone being like, I am actually a woman, or I'm actually a man, but I have different parts. Some got swapped. But the people who are like, no, I'm something different that you will never understand. I'm 1,000 genders. I'm 0 genders. I'm divided by pi genders.
Those people don't exist. I mean, they do exist, but very, 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 very few of those people exist. Most people are just say, like, I don't feel male or female. Somewhere in between or somewhere altogether.
Why can't you pick one? You can just pick one.
Because it doesn't feel right, you know? It's hard to explain.
Nothing feels right in this world.
No, nothing feels right, but this feels particularly bad. And apparently people get dysphoric about
options. Is it that bad for the people who are neither?
Yeah. I mean, would you doubt if someone just because you can't see depression doesn't mean someone isn't suffering, you have to, and that's the scary thing about mental health things. Depression only exists you have to take it on faith.
Depression only exists for me. It's fake for everybody else.
You're right. Everybody else is faking it because they're lazy.
They can just snap out of it. I can't.
It's the same with dysphoria,
Yeah.
I am dysphoric being a man. I don't want to be a man. It's gross. I fart all the time. But I also don't want to be a woman. And I also don't want to be non-binary. I guess I want to be dead.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. No. Everyone should just go back to being suicidal.
Yeah. Well, look, trans people don't have a problem with being suicidal.
Great. That's all. Let's join them.
Very highly suicidal community.
Let's get some gas on the subway.
This is the episode that's going to get us fully.
We're
done now.
Let's all jump in front of the train.
The last episode of House of Decline. All because of fucking Peter Coffin. All because I was defending Peter Coffin's right to use they, them pronouns. Despite being a big tool who does seem to be faking it for the clout.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. I'm the only one who will be canceled. Which cancel me. Cancel
you
away.
You will not.
I'm uncancelable.
You can't. The fundamental point is we are wrong for doing this. You fundamentally can't question the transness of people that claim to be trans. Only other trans people can do that.
Oh.
We don't have the right.
So I guess that's why I gotta become a they, them. And then say he's faking it, right?
No,
right? That's why this person is doing it, and so you can't tolerate that because he is a fascist fundamentally for adopting something in order to then be able to be untouchable and criticize other people for being fake trans people because that's what he's doing.
They are far from untouchable.
And so what you are doing is lib ideology. And the lib ideology has infected the trans community. So now the only way you can actually criticize it is to join it. So it's like metastasizing in a crazy way.
I don't think that is true. I think Peter Coffin is a rare case. Someone like Ben Hopkins, where they're an extremely narcissistic person who wants to be famous at any cost, and they cynically see a niche of people that are embracing something that has increasing popularity because where once it was hidden, it is now flourishing and people are expressing themselves more. And I think that's good, and I think that's wonderful.
No.
And I think
people need to not express themselves, and they need to be more bottled up. This is crazy. Well, art needs to be made illegal.
Yeah.
Yes.
No more art. We shall only have Witcher 3.
Yeah.
Witcher 3 shall be the only
I was thinking about how we don't need more video games because we got Witcher 3. It was the best one.
Really?
Yeah.
You're standing that much for Witcher 3?
Yeah, it's the best video game. It's really great.
Oh, man.
You should play it.
Witcher 3 is a good video. Back on the trans issues. Fuck it. Let's
we
have
had an out. No, we had an out.
Wedge issue. No, we had no fuck this. This is gonna be. I'm serious now. Because the UK is doing some fucked up shit. So the UK just passed. Some judges in the UK said that puberty blockers are now illegal for anyone under 16. So people that were on puberty blockers now have to go off of them. Yeah. It was a real fucked up thing. Like, the real hatred against trans people is really ratcheting up in the UK. It's very interesting to see, because it's interesting to see also, like what you say, a liberal country, an ostensibly liberal country, go backwards on identity politics, take a regressive stance on identity politics, because, you know, it shows that people are willing to use these people as a wedge issue. It's not about the inclusivity of liberalism anymore, but rather about, you know, the enemy defining of fascism. We have to fight these people at all costs because, like you said, they're changing reality, and they don't get to do that. Everyone gets to change reality, Stephen. I defy you.
No one can change reality.
We all change reality every day. I change reality by farting at butterfly.
No, because nothing.
You can change reality by saying,
you know,
I feel bad when you call me he, so call me they, please.
But nothing.
And then you say, okay.
But I'm fundamentally like, what's that pre-Socratic who said nothing changes? There's a pre-Socratic who said nothing ever fundamentally changes. I have to look up which pre-Socratic it was.
Which pre-Socratic?
Yeah.
Parmenides.
Yeah.
Hermenides?
I think it was Parmenides who said that nothing changes.
Well, you know, trans people change, that's for sure.
Yeah, but their essence doesn't change.
Cis white guys offering their opinions on trans people.
Hey, it's because we're the two smartest guys on this podcast.
We're the two smartest guys
on this podcast. Who else are we going to get?
Yeah, we're not going to get.
Can't get anyone smarter. We're all we got.
But here's the thing. Peter Coffin won't hurt cis people. Peter Coffin is going to hurt more trans people, which is why I feel we need to do a PSA about Peter Coffin.
Well, part of what I disagree about is that the use of wrong words can fundamentally hurt someone in a way that justifies some of the hysterical reactions you get for using the incorrect word.
Well, what about the N-word, though?
What about? I mean, I'm not going to say it, but I don't think you should shoot someone for using it.
No. You think you can punch someone for using it?
Potentially. If someone calls you that, you can potentially punch them.
I don't know. How many people do you think actually do receive retaliation for using that word? Whenever I see the videos of some lady at Walmart screaming at a black person, she never gets hit. Yeah. They just all film her, and then I guess you might lose your job.
Well, what kind? Is this something that needs justice to happen? Is it? And what is the nature of justice in terms of if someone says something mean to you?
Well, I think
what's the
as
correct
far as I know,
recourse?
In my very uneducated medical opinion, but I've read a lot on this issue because I like queer issues, is that gender dysphoria is a real thing. It really, really affects you fundamentally to your core. When somebody misgenders you and it's constant, it really feels like a knife twisting in your fucking brain. And if there's something simple that people can do around you to mitigate that, you know, it would be nice if they did. And I think, you know, it's not unreasonable.
Well,
it's not unreasonable to ask that. And if you know somebody feels this way and you persist in, like, calling them the knife twisty brain thing, knowing that it causes them harm, you know, I don't feel it's that. You can't really justify it. And it can, and while I don't think misgendering alone could ever ground, like, a legal or a human rights action, I think, you know, that combined with a persistent action, because, you know, usually when someone is shouting the N-word too, it's an invitation to assault. It's an invitation to threat as well. It's designed to deliberately hurt and demean somebody. And while I don't think, like you said, I don't know what the response to it should be in terms of punishment or in terms of exacting justice on it, but in terms of whether it can be used in context to severely diminish and injure a person to the point where punishment would be warranted, yeah. I absolutely think that could happen.
I agree with you when it comes down to the two genders. If there's a male transgender person or a female transgender person, you should definitely use he or she, whatever they want. I just do not see it with the neutral people.
The they them pronouns.
They them
why?
People.
But why? Why is that such a difficult step to take?
Pick one.
Why? That's what they say about bisexuals too. Just pick one. You can't be more than one thing.
Okay, but bisexuals don't get to be don't request special treatment.
Well, you've never met bisexuals.
What is a bisexual doing? Like they're not like requiring polygamy to be legal. It's like I have to be married to a man and a woman.
But that doesn't even follow from bisexual. But like, what are trans people requesting? They're
requesting for me to use a plural word in a singular way, which is a grammar Nazi. Which I admit I am. If I'm any kind of Nazi, I'm a grammar Nazi.
You're a grammar Nazi.
I don't like doing it.
Okay, Chad.
It hurts me on the inside to use they in a singular fashion.
Fuck off. Fuck off.
I've read too much of the classics.
I refute. Steven does not represent my views.
I've read way too many classics. I can't. Maybe
divorce.
Yeah.
See, this is what the YA authors were right.
Yeah.
Reading Hemingway makes you transphobic. Reading Chaucer makes you transphobic.
I don't think I'm being transphobic because these are non-binary people trans.
Yes, they are trans.
I
They're
thought
part
trans
of the whole trans umbrella.
Was just a male who thinks who has female parts. I'm not familiar with this.
No, they're all in the umbrella.
I'm something you never heard of. I'm something you can't define. It's just like grow up.
They're very easy to define. No, grow up.
I feel like it's
fine.
extremely immature, and it's.
I feel you lack imagination.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Yes. You need to... I know non-binary people. I don't doubt what they say. They track as non-binary. Not that you even have to present to be a non-binary person, but it's just like... sometimes, why do you feel like a man,
I don't necessarily feel like a man.
There you go.
But I'm okay with being called he.
Yeah, but these people aren't, I suppose.
Okay. I mean,
I don't know.
In order to be polite, I will try not to offend people in general. But if other people, I guess I don't know, maybe I'm a terrible person.
I don't think you're a terrible person. I just don't think you've met non-binary. I don't think you've participated in a lot of queer spaces. I'm your main link to queerness, and I'm about as white and cis and mayonnaise-y as you could possibly get. So,
right, well,
but
you aren't going to catch me going to a DSA meeting, so I won't really ever interact with people who request this kind of stuff.
I mean, from just being in a queer neighborhood in Toronto, I just interact. Just going to a dog park, there are a lot of non-binary trans dog owners. So I know them. I interact with them. I believe in what they say, and I think you should too. Yeah, well, I think everybody should.
I'm going to be labeled a bigot for the rest of my life, I guess. I get into arguments with other people about it too. I just don't. I'm not gonna.
You just gotta meet somebody, and they just gotta treat you right. That's how you're gonna figure it out. You just gotta meet a they, and they gotta be like, you're all right.
No. I mean, I don't think that's going to change my mind.
What would change your mind?
No, I don't think there's anything that, could change my mind to agree to this paradigm.
The non-binary paradigm?
Yeah. I don't accept it as being real, I guess. Which,
Okay, well that is the Jordan Peterson position. So,
well, he's not my favorite guy either. So
no, you don't have to accept him entirely into your life. But
Jordan Peterson's argument comes down to not wanting to get fired over it, which I don't really give a shit. Mm-hmm. I think it's fine to fire people for whatever reason, right to work.
That's where right
Yeah, I'm sure. No unions either. And fire people based on what their use of language. That's great. This is why it's like it's the crazy lib mentality. It's the K-hive mentality. The they them.
Oh yeah.
That's who the K-hive is.
What? No, yeah. K-hive hates they them. What
really?
are you talking about?
I would think they would love it because you get to police people so much.
K-hive is extremely transphobic. That's a feature of the K-hive because of Kamala Harris's consistent practice of putting trans women in men's prisons and trans men in women's prisons.
Well, they should see the light because that's right up their alley. They would love it. I'm not the person you should try to go proselytize to the K-hive because once they learn of the destruction they can wage on people's careers for minute grammar errors, they would just fall in love.
Nah, that doesn't really happen. When's the last time you heard a story of someone being seriously fucked with for like using the wrong pronouns? It's
about to happen to me.
Oh yeah, what are they gonna take away from it? They gonna dox you?
Unemployed dude living in Michigan. They're gonna come steal my car.
The arc of this podcast will be me forcing you to accept non-binary people.
Well, I don't know.
But Peter Coffin is dangerous, and they're probably not actually non-binary. That's all I'm going to say. Ben Hopkins wasn't actually non-binary. Ben Hopkins was a dude who wanted to take advantage of trans people. And I am comfortable saying that. I know that's very un-PC of me to say, but
they got
having
canceled.
been familiar with the dude on a somewhat personal level.
They got canceled, and I'm saying they because I'm referring to two people here in a band.
Oh, both Ben and Liv Bruce, who
both members of the band.
Yeah.
I mean, also this argument of mine comes down to this like prescriptive versus. Sorry, I'm typing. Sorry for the typing, guys. Prescriptive versus descriptive grammar philosophies. Are you familiar with that? It's like
lay me on.
It's
some grammar
almost kind of
trains.
like reactionary versus leftist in a way. So prescriptive, let's see, is like me, where it's like, no, there are hard and fast rules to language, and we don't change it for anything because there's hard and fast rules to language. Descriptive is like, no, it's like how the language is, how it is used, and it like changes throughout time, and it can change. So I'm very conservative with my language ideology, which is, I think, basically where this is coming from. Because, in general, I have goodwill towards people, especially weirdos, because I'm a big weirdo.
Yeah.
When the weirdos are trying to tell me how to use language, though, I turn into a grammar Nazi and start goose-stepping.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, so you know what that reminds me of? There's a concept in left-hand path magic where in order to, appropriately do it, you need to believe in something wholeheartedly. But you also have to be able to discard it at a moment's notice. In a way, combining both, prescriptive and descriptive. You need to create, in order to do magic correctly, you need to create a system of hard and fast rules that are unbreakable and that you wholly believe in when you are utilizing them. But if, something changes around you, you completely discard it. And then create another set of rules that are hard and fast or unbreakable, but only for the time that you're actually using it. And I think that's sort of what language is more like, where or to use another metaphor, it's sort of like cornstarch and water, oobleck. It's sort of like a semi-solid where it's, once you hit it, it becomes solid, but once you let it relax, it sort of becomes loose again. I think language sort of operates on both of those levels, where you sort of need, that sort of strunk white rigidity to define discourse in a certain amount of time, but it can never, just because people are individuals and mimetic, you can never hold on to the rules for too long, and at the end of an era, they become outmoded, and then you need to create a new strunk white again. Just, we were talking about Chaucer earlier, we don't talk like that anymore. So,
Maybe
something
should.
had to change, and I'm glad we don't talk. Maybe you would have been happier. Maybe you would be happier if we just spoke Middle English.
But
one and a right and pretty though they scones to Venstefel.
Which impulse is more powerful, right? The impulse of language to change or the impulse of language to stay the same? Because
Ouroboros.
Wouldn't it make sense in times where the language is changing quickly to then try to hold it back, and then in times when the language is not changing to try to push it forward?
I think this is you are describing the essence of human evolution itself, which is the struggle between attempting to evolve and then fearing that we have evolved in the wrong direction.
We evolved wrong!
Oh no! All these gills are useless. We're land creatures.
Right now, the evangelicals are like, fine, we have evolution, and I guess we just did it wrong. Fine, you're right.
That's why we have homosexuals.
All right, fine. We're 100 years late. Evolution's real, but homosex is wrong. We did it wrong. We got to unevolve.
Oh my God, that was on the other side of that. I think I was talking earlier about gay Thomas Malthus. or just because I hear a lot of gay people, like antenatal gay people, expressing Malthusian views and they don't even know about it. It's just like gay people are like, babies, ew, breeders,
right.
Stupid breeders overpopulating the earth. That's a very popular position amongst some people that I hang out with. And I think it's funny that they're accidentally, expressing this Scroogian, Malthusian, very bourgeois view of people shouldn't be having children because of the carbon footprint. When the people who have the majority of the children, either people in third world nations, don't contribute shit to the carbon footprint.
Yeah. Well, global warming's not real, so it's fine.
Yes, global warming.
I can get canceled for a different reason. I'm gonna uncancel myself and recancel myself right now.
Okay, so you accept non-binary people now, but what are you getting canceled for now?
But now global warming is fake.
Global warming is fake.
It's fake.
How is global warming fake?
Well, they're trying to. That's why they're turning everyone trans with their microwave guns, is because they want they're using global warming as an excuse to make it so we stop breeding, so that a special elite group of people can control the world. I'm talking, of course, about rich people. Sorry, no, I'm being a post-leftist right now.
You're being Peter Coffin right now. This is what Peter Coffin actually says.
Really? Is he one of these guys who's like about the conspiracy, like really into the conspiracy stuff?
No, they're not into conspiracy theory. They're into very plotting. The thing is, after this Peter Coffin person stopped doing parody videos, they started doing these really theory-laden, boring documentaries on YouTube that caught steam with sort of snarky internet leftists, but sort of defining itself against other funner YouTubers by being more smug. That's sort of really what defines Peter Coffin, is this Bill Maher-like smugness that is not however you feel about ContraPoints, she does not come across as fucking smug. I like
ContraPoints. ContraPoints I like a lot.
Everyone likes ContraPoints.
Very smart.
And Peter's argument is that lack of pretension and that humility is actually a feature of self-hating lib bourgeoisie type people. So they actually politically justify their smugness.
What if I allow for one more gender? Just one more.
The Joe Biden method. Remember when Joe Biden was asked how many genders there are and gave a wink to the camera and said there are at least 3.
Okay, there's 3 and that's it. No more. You can't.
There's 3.
You can't do any more after 3.
Okay, we're getting somewhere. That's progress. What's your third one? Most people just accept non-binary as like a catch-all third gender.
What if this is so convoluted? What if the third gender is plural? And then
the third gender is...
And then we can justify using they, them in my crazy mind, and I'm fine with it now, because I'm just going to... Oh, you're a plural.
Actually, that's not bad. But the other thing about it is that's because there are bigender and agender people, right? You know, what you're referring to are people that feel as if they are multiple genders, as if they are female one day and male the next. These are gender fluid people. A lot of drag queens identify as gender fluid people. Because that's the thing, is there are a lot of gender identities that do defy categorization. And, you know, you can either live in the world where you're doubting these people. And most trans people are people that I want to hang out with because, like you said, they're weirdos. They're cool, you know? They've sort of been pushed to the edge by virtue of their identities. So, or you can live in the world where these people are all faking it for clout, which is what I did accuse Peter Coffin of doing, and Ben Hopkins. But I think those types of people are few and far between, and you should take most people at their world because it's a funner and better world to live in.
Yes, except the point of life is suffering. And
there you go.
Anything that can increase the net amount of suffering is the option that I will go for. And it pains me to do so. It causes me great suffering to misgender you, but I must do it because the meaning of life is for us both to suffer.
That's pretty funny. Yeah. That's the Mother Teresa strategy.
Oh, you're poor? Oh, you're poor? Come live in my house. We're going to give you some horrible disease. Have you had smallpox? Have you had typhus?
Let me watch you suffer. We see the Christ in the broken body.
I'm going to watch you
got the
die.
Most broken body of all.
Yeah.
That's why the antidote to Mother Teresa would be little rip dudes.
Well, why don't we just beat the individuality out of everybody and just start cloning me? Let's just clone me. Let's pick someone neutral. You know, not gender neutral, but, you know, neutral.
Only one gender, Stephen.
Yeah, no, I had that the narcissistic drive for a cult where you name everyone after you. That's always been my dream, which is why I was envious that you stole the idea to break into the prison and join Keith Raniere and help break him out, because I wanted to do that.
Okay, we can both do that.
I think we should ask Keith Raniere what he thinks about non-binary people.
Keith Raniere is going to be the next guest on the podcast.
Oh,
Look
God.
out! Straight from Brooklyn.
Can we try?
Federal.
Can we try to call him?
Can we try? Are we going to try and call Keith Raniere?
I would love to. Have him as a guest.
Okay, stay tuned, folks. That's going to be the next episode.
Next episode we're going to have
to contact Keith Raniere.
Federal inmate Keith Raniere on the line. Finally, because he's got the highest IQ in the world. I don't know if you knew that.
He does have the highest IQ in the world. He is the smartest man in the world. He is able to... The thing is, his method is so powerful, he could just will himself into believing that he's not in prison, and he won't be. You know? That's how powerful it is.
So, final topic of the day is, it's getting cold, and we're going to move to Israel, where it's warm.
Yes.
And we are going to take a little Palestinian family's house.
Yes.
We're going to kick them out into the warm weather, because it's beautiful and sunny Israel, and they'll be fine.
Look, the only banks the Jews control is the West Banks. So, let's get on there. Let's get to Ramallah.
Why can't we have this house? It's on a bank. We are
They say we control the bank. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a casual anti-Semitism.
I like being militantly pro-Israel. I like it. So
you in most of the country, most of America is very pro-Israel,
really?
Which is very funny.
I guess
it's nice to see this legion of rednecks rabidly chanting for the militarization of the Jewish people is very funny.
Somehow, the crusade gene has been bred into the Anglos in an intense way. It's really a remarkable feat.
Well, it's true though, because the whole Bush era was the fucking crusade gene, being activated in these weird fucking Protestants.
I think the reason for the Iraq War more than anything might really just be crusade. It was a crusade.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We need to take the Holy Land.
Mm-hmm. That's what it was. And, that's why it's sad that internet atheists became such a laughingstock, because Christianity really is a deadly force.
All the internet atheists became like anti-trans people. So, yeah.
Yeah, they became anti-trans. They also became anti-feminist, anti-trans people.
I'm sorry for being so anti-trans. I hope people listen to the end to hear my apology.
I think people know where you're coming from. I think people,
probably not.
If you were ever confronted with a non-binary person, you would absolutely say they, them.
There is I'm not going to reveal it, but I have that potential. I know of a they, them I could meet. Mm-hmm. I'm extremely antisocial.
Yeah.
And like I said, I believe that we must increase the suffering of people to please our angry God. We will not.
We need the blood sacrifices.
It's not going to stop sending plagues and bad politicians to haunt us.
Well, here's the thing, Stephen. Is it's good to have someone to butt up against. It's nice to hash out these issues with someone who's skeptical, but clearly has a well of compassion.
Yeah.
They can draw from if ever faced with this. Now I'm talking in the condescending way.
Well, I can be
condescending voice.
In terms of being like that, it's this to me. This issue sort of did not have a very much debate. It has been demanded. The acceptance of it has been demanded, and unfortunately for me, debate is required before I accept something. And
the thing is, sorry, I interrupted.
That's all right.
Keep
well,
going.
just too often people assume that you can't change your mind. So I either have to have my mind changed somehow, or I'm irredeemable.
Well, I would disagree with the premise that there wasn't a debate about this, because the debate about third gender pronouns goes way back to the 90s too. It just became way more prominent in mainstream culture. Because of, I don't know, probably Laverne Cox on Orange is the New Black. Because, trans people started getting representation in media, and a lot of people who had never seen that before were like, wait, that's a thing? And it sort of entered into the conversation, where I don't think it was necessarily forced on people, but I think by the time that most people became aware of the highly developed culture of trans people, and the fact that as an insular community they tend to go after people who they think are hurting their own.
Laverne Cox says the pronouns are she.
Yeah, Laverne Cox is not non-binary, but I'm sure she would go out for the non-binary people.
Imagine Harry Potter if you could choose your house. All right, the whole thing would fall apart.
That's a much better thing than the fascist, you are this way and you'll never be another way.
There is a sorting hat, and it's in the uterus, and you put it on when you're still in there, and it tells you your gender. Okay? Okay?
Oh my god. Well,
sorry, that's J.K. very lib. It's the very... The culture has gotten so... complicated now that there's no you can be accused of being a Nazi for just the most convoluted shit. That it's very fun. It's a very fun thing. You just can't hold a job with a boss if you want to partake.
That's why you gotta be Barstool. You gotta make your own Barstool. That's what we're trying to do here.
We should
make our own Barstool.
Yeah, coming next week, along with our interview with Keith Raniere, we will be asking him about all the stock tips, because he again is the smartest man in the world.
Smartest man in the world, yeah. Him and Ghislaine, who will be joining us by satellite. She's just being kept awake with water torture. It was called Chinese water torture, but we had to change it to be PC.
Now that Chinese just torture us with viruses.
Yeah. Whoa.
We're gonna drip this
Solo.
We're gonna drip this virus very slowly into America. I want a war. Okay. I want a war with China over this virus.
No, we're gonna get a trade war. It's like a war, but everyone just becomes poor, except for 7 people.
I want a hot nuclear war. I want an exchange of nuclear arsenals.
Yeah, I thought we would have mutants by now, so it's the way to jog it. I want superpowers.
Yeah, I want mutants.
Yeah, I definitely want... Yeah, I think that's what we could... In the future, gender won't matter, because we'll all be mutants.
Yeah.
We'll all look like globs of goo. We'll all have tentacle beasts.
Well, we'll be able to create kids in little vials, and we'll be able to make them, whatever we want.
Yeah. Well, their genitals won't even matter.
I mean, once we start mass-producing people and people become products, which is basically what another argument against this, rampant individuality is that you're basically commodifying yourself.
Well, yeah.
The impulse will be to just do clones. I do think we will see human cloning because of you lefties.
Because of us lefties? I don't follow the logic there.
You lefties are going to just start cloning yourselves. Because you're going to have instead of, you're going to go from surrogacy to just cloning. You're going to have a clone. You're going to have 2 dudes with a clone
reproduction.
Bunch of weirdos with clone children being like, "Yeah, we just cloned myself and I'm going to raise a better version of myself." And then he's going to clone himself and raise a better version of, and instead of natural reproduction, we're going to have this horror show of just like the same narcissistic people cloning themselves over and over again.
Yeah, but the clones degrade very slowly over time, so in a generation, everyone becomes, the Wall-E people.
Yeah, the thing I like about the right is the constant sex apocalypse that's always happening around them. I really enjoy that because we are in the sex apocalypse right now. Like
sex apocalypse,
and
how are we in the sex apocalypse? Because Big Mouth, they allow Big Mouth on TV.
Trans issues are not like it's the sex apocalypse for Christians.
Oh yeah,
this
you're
is
right.
and even though I can be canceled by like people on the left for things I've said, I would be canceled by people on the right also for things I've said, which was a blanket acceptance of all male to female, female to male trans people. Like they don't accept that.
Well, you caught in the middle between you're willing to accept one thing but not the other. In time, Stephen, in time, you will come to know the beautiful ways of not prescribing any gender to people.
No.
And just being like, hey, you're fine.
What we need is a king.
Clarice.
We need a king who's also our God to tell us what to do.
Who's also a corporation.
Yes.
It's Nick Land, folks. Nick Land.
No, it's right. Google.
You're right. Google is God.
Will tell us what to do. Yeah, we are making God, but it's not going to be Nick Land. Nah, Nick Land's the worst.
Nick Gland.
Yeah.
That's where all of my fecal matters are produced. My Nick Gland. He's just always spewing it. I wonder what Nick Land thinks about trans people. What thinks about non-binary. I mean, he probably doesn't care for him.
He probably thinks something disgusting and horrible about trying to kill them.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's
you
not
ever
great.
You ever think about how easy it would be if you just, had a dogmatic point of view that you just never strayed from?
Yes.
And you were always certain in it?
Of course. I'm a very black and white person. That's why I'm like that. It's the easy way out.
Okay.
But
if it's the easy way out and you're trying to increase suffering, then wouldn't you suffer more by not having an ideology? Boom, roasted.
Nope. Yeah, you roasted me. That's true. That's very St. Augustine.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. The harder thing to do. The thing would be to be accepting of all people. And in any way in any form or any fashion they want, which is what Jesus would do. Jesus would say they, them.
Jesus would say they, them.
He would.
We are, as Calvinist scholars, we can say John Brown would fucking die for these people. John Brown would
what
say
would John Brown? Yeah, what would John Brown? I wish we should go back in time.
No, John Brown would probably be very problematic.
What if we went back in time and kidnapped little kid John Brown, so we had enough time to bring him up in this time?
We just totally pussify him, and he doesn't like guns anymore.
No. At what point, what age John Brown could we go back in time and kidnap and then get him to come forward in time and then start the second Civil War? I mean, he basically started the first Civil War.
Yeah.
That's why he's not thought of as a hero necessarily. He did basically instigate a civil war.
It was necessary.
Oh,
it was going to happen anyway.
That's a retcon, by the way, that the direct action people really love. It was not necessarily necessary.
Well, yeah, I can't say anything for certain, but no, I think even with my limited knowledge of American history, it was going to happen anyway. And if it wasn't John Brown, it would have been somebody else. It would have been another
amount
slave
of
revolt.
death happened though, like an insane amount of death.
Oh yeah, it was one of the maybe like the worst. It was the most violent war up until WW1, right?
Yeah, if that is what's necessary for the social change, then I don't know if social change is worth it. You can't say, I don't know, like this. Was the Civil War worth it? I don't know. That's a crazy amount of death that happened.
Well,
you
cannot alter what has happened. So it has to be worth it because it's the only thing that can happen.
Oh,
because it already has.
That's a philosophy with a name, but I don't know what it is. Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
If it happened, then it has to have happened, or it has to have been worth it.
Yeah.
What's that called? Objectivism? Positivism? Is that one?
It's like the positive approach to faith. Once again, returning to our ultimate theme of Calvinism.
Retrocausality?
Everything has been preordained.
Is it retrocausality?
Sure, let's call it that. It's retrocausality. It's what little rip dudes believe.
Little Richard. Is he a little rip dude?
He was a little rip dude.
He's on my hit list. He's a little rip dude. Prince on my hit list. If Prince wasn't dead...
Prince was a little rip dude.
If Prince wasn't dead, I would be hiring a contract killer right now to take him out.
Why?
Yeah, because
he was Jehovah's Witness?
He's a little rip dude.
No, he's a little rip dude. You're right.
Off,
he was too little and ripped. Yeah,
yeah, turning me on when I was...
He was having too much swagger.
He was turning me on when I was 10 and the grocery checkout was not allowed. Turning me on. Turning also, a little 10-year-old boy on with his sexy guitar.
You know who recently became a little rip dude?
Who?
Elliot Page.
Oh, yeah.
The ultimate little rip dude.
That's very funny. Good for Elliot Page.
Yeah! Elliot Page uses they pronouns.
God damn it. My enemy. My enemy. No, it's not right, god damn it. Language has rules. You can't.
Good night, everybody.
You can't change the rules.
Steven's still freaking out. Sorry to every sorry to every non-binary person and trans person that listened to this.
Except the ones that use he or she. Those people are probably like cheering right now. Like, yeah.
Well, those people are called true scum.
Our team won.
No, we need to accept all people. Gay people want to shed trans people, but we can't. Trans people,
what about the
binary
Nazis?
Trans people want to shed non-binaries.
If you got to accept all people, what about the Nazis and the alt-right? You got to accept them?
Roasted. Boom. I'm done.
What are you going to do?
We'll have the non-binary people and the Nazis. They'll all be in a mosh pit together. It's going to get bloody.
Yeah, no, what we just need to do is make some living space. Okay, how do we go? We gotta just make some living space for us. Okay, it's gonna be called like something cool, like living room space. And what we're gonna do?
Rahm Emanuel. He used to have something that he called the Laban Room.
Rahm Emanuel.
He called it the Laban's Room.
Rahm Emanuel, also known as the Desert Fox, if you will. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Too many Nazi jokes. So now we're really canceled.
Okay. We love you. We're going. We're not successful, so we can't be canceled.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, tune in next week for our interview with Keith Raniere. Goodbye.